Like a recording. Boop, 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 boop. Recording. Hello, sunshine. What's going on?
Who?
It's who? How dare you? This is the guy, remember, who you talked to, and then you gave me your number, and I'm like, oh, this girl's hot. Let me go call her. And now you're all, oh, yeah. A little late for that. Now that I'm already brokenhearted.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to break your heart.
You're not sorry. You're not sorry. You're laughing now, and guess what? Now you owe me, like, fresh baked oatmeal raisin cookies out of the oven.
I'm sorry, I don't bake.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't take excuses. I want those cookies. Chewy. Not rock hard bricks. I want them chewy with the little raisins.
Okay, well, I'm just Gator Brothers has them.
Yeah. What are you doing?
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just, like, kind of doing a whole bunch of things.
A whole bunch of things?
Cooking, but not cooking, and cruising the internet and not cruising the internet. Now I'm talking on the phone with you.
So you were, like, downloading porn, and now you're done downloading porn. Now you're talking to me?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, let me check. Let me go back here. Serenes, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Click on your cute little picture. Oh, look at your adorable smile.
Yeah, sure, why not?
I like to think of myself as spontaneous and shy, but some people say I'm super curious about everything. So you're super curious, but super random.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I guess you'd never know.
Yeah, probably never.
I like it all the time.
Oh, don't tell me you put free-spirited. I'm free-spirited and open-minded. That is like the most cliched thing. Just delete that immediately.
I like those cookies that you're giving me.
I like them too. They're really helpful. I think they really help. They help you become more sexy over time, and then it just makes me fall deeper and deeper in love with you. It makes me happier.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
You always state the obvious. I like that. That works out. You're a travel junkie.
Yeah.
Wait, you don't have a New Jersey accent. You don't have a New Jersey accent. You're not like, hey, what's up? What if you had a New Jersey accent?
Explain to me what a Jersey accent actually is.
Yeah, you're supposed to have like a Jersey accent, like I'm from Jersey.
Do a lot of people from Jersey talk like that?
Everybody from Jersey talks like that.
No, I don't talk like that. My friend doesn't talk like that.
Well, that's because your Jersey accent is broken. You should just check it. Just check to see maybe it's malfunctioning.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people I know don't speak like that in New Jersey.
Everybody I know from New Jersey speaks like that. Everybody I've talked to from New Jersey, just like that.
Oh, you talk to the wrong people.
No, those people are special. Hey, you're 5'7".
Yeah, plus or minus. So actually more plus than minus.
More plus than minus, so you're taller than that. What if I could pick you up and...
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know the last time
I want to be able to pick you up and swing you around in my arms. I think that's romantic. You shouldn't be laughing like that. You should be going, no, you shouldn't be laughing. That hurts my feelings. You should be going, oh my gosh, I can't be waiting to be picked up in your arms. It's going to be so awesome. Woo! How about that?
Like hopeless romantic type of...
What's that?
Okay, are you some type of like hopeless romantic type of person?
Hopeless romantic? Everybody's hopeless. Everybody's hopelessly romantic. They're always looking for the next person to be that special someone.
I guess so.
What do you mean you guess so? Of course so. If you weren't a hopeless romantic, if you weren't a hopeless romantic, you would pick any guy on the street. You'd pick a homeless guy on the street. You'd start dating him because he could just be a boyfriend. He could just fill a slot. But obviously, you're looking for the super special someone, and here I am. You're the future girlfriend. I'm the future boyfriend. This is our first date. We're walking along the beach holding hands.
Aw, so cliche.
Did you just say so cliche? I'm going to backhand. This is going to be our first domestic violence fight. You're going to have to get a backhand.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, sounds like fun.
What's that?
I said sounds like fun.
You are like, you are into the...
I'm like so out of it. I got home at like...
Yeah, you're into the whole cliched sarcasm tough guy thing, huh? You like to act like a tough guy, huh? I like it when you're sweet and tender. I like when you act like a girl. You don't try to act like a guy, but you try and like show your sweet tender side. I think that's a turn on. That's super turn on. When you're trying to be like all competitive and tough and everything, like you're sarcastic like that, that's turn off. But that super sweet, shy, vulnerable side, that turns me on. That makes me happy.
Oh, is that what I'm supposed to be doing right now?
That's exactly what you're supposed to be doing right now. Now you're getting it. I like that. I like that you're smart. You get things real quick like that. You pick it up real quick. That's hot.
Okay.
That turns me on. What's that?
Are you originally from California?
Yeah, I'm from California. How did you know?
Born and raised?
No.
No. Born and raised in California? Southern California? Northern?
Northern.
Northern?
Yeah.
Where about?
Like up across the bay?
Oh, yeah? Like Palo Alto area?
A little bit to the left of that.
That's more like...
You're like a geography major. You know exactly where I'm at, right?
No, I don't. I didn't know that you said across the bay, so you're like a little bit more to the left. So.
What's your favorite color?
I don't really have a favorite, but I like purple.
I don't like purple, but I like green. What if we had like matching his and her t-shirts that were both green?
Okay.
You are such a nerd. I love that.
Really, me or you?
What's that?
I said me or you?
You.
No.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, fine.
I like that you're a shy little nerd. You don't say a lot, but it's like, it's cute because slowly you're warming up and coming out of your shell and looking at the world and blossoming like a flower.
You use a lot of descriptive words.
I like using my words. It helps me a lot. It helps me communicate with people when I use my words.
Oh my god. Okay. Cool. What do you do?
Do you talk to people at all? Are you social at all?
I do. I am very social, actually. Not at the wrong time.
Whatever. This is like the first boy you ever talked to in your entire life, right? I'm your first boyfriend.
Yeah.
This is going to be so hot.
Actually, the first person in the world that I ever talked to. I'm actually a feral child, and I was a gypsy, and I just lived in the forest all my life.
I've never dated a feral child before.
Yeah, I'm a feral child.
I've never dated a feral child before. Do you you don't eat with your fingers, do you?
Sometimes.
Sometimes? That's pretty hot.
Yeah,
We could have like a little romantic thing where I teach you how to use the utensils, the fork, the knife, the spoon. That learning experience, it's going to be like that movie Ghost, where they are like straddling the potting wheel and they're making a pot. The clay is like going in between their fingers. It's all romantic. That's how it's going to be when I'm training you to use the utensils.
Okay. That's how I train children to use utensils as well.
Really?
Really? You have to. Yeah, I train children.
Do you like snuggling up on beanbags and eating peachy candies and drinking Coca-Cola and watching blockbuster movies? Because that's my favorite thing to do of all time.
I don't like soda.
What is wrong with you? Soda's delicious. Soda's healthy. Soda gives you strong muscles and big bones, and it helps you reflect on life.
I guess so. If you think it does, it really does so.
If you drank soda with me, I think that it would really bind us together. Like if we drank soda together, we're sipping from the same straw. You look in my eyes, I look in your eyes, and you slowly sip the Coke, and then you give the straw to me. I sip it, and we feel that little carbonation bubbles tickling our nose. I think that's pretty hot.
Where do you come up with these things? Like, such a bullshitter.
What are you talking about? You are a tough guy. You're a tough one to crack.
You don't have to crack. It's already cracked open.
I like that you're cracked open, that your arms are open to me because my arms are open to you.
Yeah, no, but there's no seriousness.
Whatever. You know what I want to do?
It's not about being serious.
Shh. Quiet yourself. I want to go to Starbucks. I want to get like a chai mocha latte soy something, and I want to share one with you. And then we look across at each other. We have like awkward silences, and I hold your hand. You look away, then you look back at me, and then our eyes lock, and then we look at each other. Not like a serial killer stare, but like a romantic longing stare, like you haven't eaten, like a steak dinner in a long time. And then I look at you, you look at me.
Steak.
You don't?
No, I don't eat meat.
Well, not everybody can be healthy. Some people choose to eat rocks. Some people choose to eat grass. That's your lifestyle choice. That's up to you.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, at least for now it is.
You know what? I'm not going to hold that against you. Just because you eat vegetables, sometimes I eat vegetables too, so it's going to work out. That's the good news. I'm sure it
Why
will
do
be
you
too.
live in Southern California now?
What's that?
Why do you live in Southern California now?
Because it's nice weather and it's lovely scenery, and it's a cozy little town. I like it. It's cozy. Really?
Why it's so little over there, but there are a lot of little people there.
Yeah, there's a lot of little midgets running around. There are little people. You're pretty little yourself. You're about 5'7". You're pretty tiny yourself. Can you touch the top of the shelves at the supermarkets?
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Guess what?
What?
Guess what?
What?
I want to meet you today in about half an hour for a mocha something over at Starbucks.
I can't right now. I'm like in the middle of something.
Never say can't. You're an American.
Yeah, I am American.
Just cancel that brain surgery. You can do it tomorrow. It's not every day that you meet the man of your dreams, the star-crossed lover, the soulmate, and you're talking to him right now. And if you just miss that opportunity, what if I get hit by a bus tomorrow?
When you're like uncomfortable, when you're like talking to somebody.
What's that?
Very sarcastic. You're very sarcastic.
No, I think you're very sarcastic, and I think you're jealous that I'm not as sarcastic as you, that I'm more straightforward. If you were less sarcastic, if you were less sarcastic and less defensive, you would have more fun. If you were more straightforward, you would have more fun.
I am not defensive.
You are very defensive. You are very sarcastic because that's like one of those old self-defense mechanisms that insulates you from meeting people and like sharing your feelings. But once you drop that and you start being more straightforward, then like I go, oh my gosh, this chick is hot. She's not sarcastic. She's not trying to be snide commentary person. She's not trying to be too cool for school. Now, see? Now she's acting like a chick. Now it's hot. Now I'm turned on.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm happy for you then.
Oh, see that? See that sarcasm? First I had a boner and then it went, boo! It just went down. You should have been, oh, that's sweet.
You know that this conversation is very,
No,
very good conversation we have going on over here.
you are the biggest dork I've ever met. I like that. It's hot.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that your favorite thing to say that's hot?
Which part?
So is that your favorite thing to say that's hot?
Not my favorite thing. It's one of my favorite things to say. I really like the phrase. It's short. It's succinct. It encapsulates a lot of, sentiments about hotness, things that turn me on, things that are hot, girls, people, recipes, things like that. It's very hot.
Recipes?
Yeah, recipes for hot food, like enchiladas, hot sauce, things like that. It's hot.
Okay. You like enchiladas?
Can you make me some enchiladas? Because that would make me happy. I think that would be very hot.
I can.
That's going to be romantic when we're cooking together. You have your apron on that says, like, kiss the cook. And then you're cooking and you're only wearing, like, panties and hot boots and maybe, like, a hot little tank top on or something like that. And then I come up behind you and kiss the back of your neck. And then you're, like, cooking.
Do you like how you talk to everybody?
Shut it! I'm not even done with the story yet. I'm in the middle and you're already interrupting. All right, so where was I?
Okay.
So back
Okay,
to...
so go on.
Okay, so you were cooking some awesome enchiladas in your cute little panties and your apron and your boots, and then I come behind you and kiss you on the back of the neck because I think that's hot. Like when you're cooking, I think that's one of the biggest turn-ons. I think when you can cook and then you're like making something for me, it like kind of warms my heart because you made it for me, and I'm like, oh, she did that for me. That's so sweet. So then I come up and kiss the back of your neck, and then we're making out, and I'm like, pay attention to the food, otherwise we'll burn it. And you're like, I don't care about the food because you're here. That's pretty hot.
Oh my god.
That's pretty hot.
You're such a dreamer.
That's not a dream. That could be a reality. You shouldn't look at that as a dream. You should be like, that could be us.
Okay. I will. I definitely will.
No, here's you. Here's you. Okay. Yeah. That could be that. Yeah. That's okay. See, no enthusiasm. You want to make the dream happen. You have to chase after it. You have to go, oh, I can't wait. That's going to be so much fun. I can't wait to look forward to it.
My dream or your dream?
Our dream, smart guy, not your dream or my dream. This is a team effort. This is not a competition. You and me, we're on the same team.
Okay. What?
We're on the same team, you and me.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to tell you for the past half hour. We're on the same team. You gotta stop competing against me. You're making our team go down. You gotta make our team win.
Okay, I'll make the team win.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
I really can't though right now.
But I want to.
Well, that's fine, but I can't.
But I want to look into your magical eyes.
Okay. How about some other time?
When?
I don't know, just not today.
How about never?
I never say never.
Well, you have to pick a day. You can't be a naysayer. If you say not this day, then it has to be that day. You can't. Otherwise, you're a backseat driver just complaining. If you're going to complain, you have to give the suggestion alternate day.
Okay. Well, then I would have to get back to you on that one.
Wrong answer.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know, sometimes you don't get exactly what you want in life, you know?
I do. How come you don't?
Because this is the way it works.
No, that's the way it works for you. That means it's broken. For me, it works. Because it's my way or the highway. That's how I get things done.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, like right now you're not getting exactly what you want, I guess.
Yeah, but neither are you. Because you're not getting me in the relationship yet. But then on the other hand, I'm not getting you to hold hands with you. So it's like both our teams are suffering.
Alrighty. Well, it was nice talking to you.
Well, it was kind of boring talking to you, though.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You should apologize, because I've talked to much more interesting people, but I'm going to give you a pass, because you're a girl, and I usually don't expect girls to be too interesting.
Oh, that's a shame.
No, it's not a shame, it's an expectation. Girls aren't as smart as guys, so they're generally not expected to be that interesting. It's usually the guy's going to be interesting, and the girl's just going to kind of react and follow suit. That's generally how it's going to go. In this case, it went just like by textbook. I can only work with what they give me.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly, see? Exactly. You have the 2-word sentences down, I have the rest of the 98% of the conversation down. If it wasn't for me, it would be like paint drying. So thank God I'm in this conversation.
I will pray about it tonight.
Look at your responses, average half a second and 2 sentences. My responses average 5 minutes and keep you tuned in like you're watching a Batman rerun. It's just night and day, basically.
Yeah, it is. It is a shame, isn't it?
I agree. Well, no, not a shame. Again, it's an expectation. You're not expected to pull the weight. That's why I'm a guy. I'm expected to pull the weight. We're smarter, we're stronger, we're faster, etc., etc. That's so we can be designed to do that. We're there for you guys. We're there to provide for you guys.
Okay. I agree with you 100%.
Me too, 110%.
Alrighty. Well, I will contact you.
No, I don't think you're the type of girl that I would date normally. I don't think it'd be a good idea to contact me again. I'm more into a girl who's enthusiastic, attractive, likes to participate, likes to cook, that type of thing. So I don't want to date you. I mean, you're just not interesting enough for me to date, so I don't think it's a good idea to contact me. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you have a good night.
You too. Have fun. I think you were doing something. I forget what.
Yeah, I was. Alrighty. Don't worry about it. Have a good night, though.
Talk to you later. Okay, and there you have it. That was the excruciatingly painful conversation with a dumb bitch. This chick basically is like a type of chick that I pretty much hate talking to. She's very snide, sarcastic, and if she was hot, I would put in the effort. For sure, I'd put in the effort. I would. I don't think I definitely put in enough. Whatchamacallit? I don't think I stimulated her enough to open up, for sure. But this is a looks versus. What is this? This is a looks versus. Sorry, I'm being distracted. I'm looking at this guy's icon, and it looks like Stewie on one side, and then it looks like a little mirror down in the right hand corner, and it's just dancing like a fucking insane little puppet, and it just makes no sense, but it's just distracting as hell. People like this that have these bizarre icons, I don't know what they mean. I want to kick them in their face. That's just a personal preference. Okay, I'm gonna move that a little bit. Okay, what was I saying? All right, so this type of chick she's basically like a sarcastic bitch, and if I was more interested, if she was hotter looking, I would try to put in more effort. I would try to be more stimulating to get her to open up. But like bitches like this, I don't understand. She's not that hot. This is more like a test chick. The reason why this conversation even happened, backtrack a little bit. I had a friend visiting from Seattle, and he flew down, and he basically knows nothing about girls. So I said, so he's asking me how to pick up girls at the gym. That's normally, I guess, where he bumps into girls at. And I kind of wanted to give him a bird's eye view of a conversation with a girl. And the only conversation, or the potential conversation I had available at the time, was this chick who had just basically got her number that day and was ready to talk to her. And I figured, well, she's not that great looking, doesn't matter. Why not just waste the number and practice talking in front of him to give him an idea of what is possible and how to speak to a girl, how to get expectations met, how to control a conversation so that you're saying what you want to say, she's not leading it, you're leading it, etc. So I wanted to show him a couple examples of doing that. And just unfortunately, God, I fucking hate bitches like that. It's like, this bitch is not that hot, so a girl like that, she should be trying. She should be trying to keep my interest. I know it's fucking retarded the way it works, because girls all think they're 10s in their own mind. They're that fucking delusional. And so they get it in their head that, oh, this guy has to entertain me, da-da-da. They never want to do the work. So a bitch like this, fucking delusional as hell, will expect me to do the same amount of work that I would do with like a 10 or like a 9, where I'd actually have to try a little bit. This chick, fucking out of her mind, is giving me responses that I would backhand her. I would kick her through a field goal. I would talk to her one time, and if I ever heard this attitude out of her, I know it would be wrong if I just immediately stopped, because I know you have to talk. Like when for instance, when she started asking me before I started just letting go and not really giving too much of a fuck what I'm saying. I generally don't anyway, but I know some things are more offensive than others, and actually, even the more offensive things I thought I was saying, it really didn't become offensive until I started making like demands, like I want to hang out with you right this second. I'm pretty sure I could have parlayed that into a meeting later on if I invested the necessary stimulation. Like she's asking me, where are you from, and what do you do? Basic bullshit, blah blah blah. And this is the time where you want to just like start talking, or this is where you're becoming comfortable with her, and she's going to open up when you just tell her, hey, I bake cookies, or I make choo-choo train tracks for a toy company, and just nonsense like that. Where I'm not saying that you have to speak nonsense. I'm just saying that I was just commenting on my stupid example. But anyway, where you talk about you work at Krispy Kreme Donuts, or you're an engineer at IBM, or whatever you do. And it's basically a time to let her in on your experience. This is where your expression comes in handy, where you're practicing your candid expression, where you're practicing bringing a girl into your experience. Unfortunately, because she was such an annoying bitch, I just couldn't get my proverbial penis up to... I was not interested. She was not stimulating me, put it that way. If a girl isn't stimulating me when I'm putting in effort, it's like, dragging my feet. Again, it comes down to whether I'm attracted or not. The same with any guy. I think, if you're looking at a flugster, you're definitely not even going to talk to her. You're just like, unless you're, in a super desperate state, which is understandable with some guys. You need sex badly, so you're willing to put up with a fatty or a fugly. But if you're a reasonably attractive guy and you can somehow talk to girls, you're not maybe that successful, but you can start opening your mouth and start up with conversations and whatnot, and you can maybe get somewhere with enough effort, you're going to raise your standards a little. You're going to want a girl who is pleasant to your eyes and is not a total bitch, maybe, just depending on how much of a mangina you are. But if you realize that you are an attractive person because you realize what causes attraction, what it takes to be attractive, again, covered in our ebook, you raise your standards again. And so, let's say, you happen to be sitting next to let's say you're taking the bus, and you happen to be sitting next to a chunky chick, and you're like, I'm going to practice talking to her. So you start talking to her, and she starts giving you the attitude of a chick who you would think would be hotter. You would shut that conversation down immediately. You think to yourself, why am I even bothering? You're the cookie monster, and I'm talking to you. I'm being generous in offering my conversation to you. I'm stimulating you free of charge. You should be paying me to talk to you. So, with fugsters, you don't want to put in the effort. And this girl wasn't fugly. She was I'm a little more pickier on my scale. I'm going to rate her. I would say on the average guy scale, she'd be a 7. I would rate her between probably a 5, 5.5. I just not my type of girl. Maybe she's attractive to another different type of guy, but just looks wise, not attractive to me. She wasn't too fat, but she had like just okay. I don't want to get into it. That's not even the point. Can't believe I'm wasting 10 minutes worrying about her looks here. Anyway, I'm just trying to get to the point that depending on how attracted you are to the girl, that's proportional to the effort you're going to put in. I was trying to I actually put in more effort than I would have put in for a girl that looks the way she does. I would have, for a girl like that, we're at a major difference right now. I'm sure I'm different than most of you guys in the sense that right now, when I talk to girls, it's mainly girls I want to be with. They have to be attractive enough for me to want to be with them, unless it's just like a pure sex thing. They have to be attractive enough for me to want to be with them. So it's kind of, I want to talk to a certain caliber of chick, put it that way, where I'm physically attracted to her, not just in practice mode. Whereas, earlier on it was, when you're figuring things out, it's okay to talk to a chick who's not as attractive, who you wouldn't normally date, where you're practicing talking, you're practicing socializing, you're practicing attracting a girl for the first time, that type of thing. So this isn't that girl. This is not a practice girl. I'm not at the stage where I want to practice with a girl. So this is more or less to show, to demonstrate for my friend who's sitting on the couch at the time, how to talk to a girl. So I'm trying to speak loudly. I'm trying to speak. I'm trying to speak blatantly and over enunciate, and just to make it clear because I realize I'm recording this. So in some sense, I don't want to say that my conversation is artificial because I've said things like that, and I have said content-wise those types of things to girls. But generally speaking, I don't want to give you the impression that that's a typical conversation for me. Like I would be, hello, so what is your favorite color? And like I'm an announcer. That is not the point I want to get across. The point I want to get across is just to make it clear enough so that I know she's going to be muffled because she's talking on the phone, so I want to be as clear as possible. And also, I don't want to try and say anything that I would consider overtly cool. I want to say things to this girl that would be considered dorky or nerdy, so that you could get the idea that you don't have to say things that are super duper cool. Like you don't have to be Professor Plum. You don't have to strain to come up with some magically delicious adjectives and some, word picture that was painted by Picasso or something like that along those lines. You could be very, I don't know if the word is normal, but very, I don't want to say bland, but the content is bland. To me, that whole entire content was bland. The only thing that was attractive about it was the fact that I was leading the conversation. I was bringing up the topics, taking it where I wanted it to go. Like I eventually wanted to meet her, so I have to stimulate her. I have to talk about myself. I have to inquire about her, etc., etc. I have to apply pain when my expectations aren't getting met. Like, for instance, when she's giving me answers I don't like, or especially the way she answers, it's very sarcastic, and I'm like, you fucking cunt, shut up. That's what I'm thinking. So now I have to apply pain because that's not what I want when I'm talking to a girl. So if this girl is saying, well, yeah, she's, you say something, I like you, you're cute, and she gives me some kind of sarcastic remark like, oh, that's good for you. Else I will either ignore sarcasm, like in some respects, like in the very last thing she said, where she said, well, I'll call you later, and I said, no, I don't really want you to call me later because I'm not really attracted to you. I was being very frank, and then she said, well, I don't know if you caught it, but right underneath when I was saying that, she said, I was just being polite. So again, giving, what I would consider attitude. And I would say she was, in that case, she was very, she had her right to say that because I did not stimulate her. I was trying to get my expectations met without stimulating her. And so, in that regard, I would say she was justified in saying she was being polite when she said that. I just don't like that girls aren't frank, they aren't forthwith with their intentions. So, I still consider that disrespect, even though she was basically being polite, and she was kind of justified in just saying, yeah, I'll talk to you later, which is basically just a blow-off, right? You haven't stimulated a girl enough, she's not attracted. She's basically just blowing you off. But you notice I just talked over her. I ignored her. Her expectations, because I don't value her expectations are meaningless to me. So I will ridicule them, I will mock them, I will be sarcastic with them, I will ignore them. A couple of times I said whatever. I seldom say whatever to girls. whatever is more of a, I can't think of anything to say right now because I feel like I'm on stage and I'm trying to do two things at once. I'm trying to make sure my voice is clear. I'm aware that my friend is listening to me, so I'm trying to imagine things that he would say and say them to a girl and show him how to get those expectations met if in fact she does something like she gives him a sarcastic answer or she gives him an answer he doesn't want or a disrespectful response or a sarcastic bitch reply. I want to show him how to manage those reactions, those responses. So I was saying things to kind of provoke a conversation in that direction and also to see if I could stimulate this girl at the same time. And I admit I definitely wasn't working so much on the stimulation part, which was really a shortcoming. But with this type of girl where she wants to control how things are going, you could see how she was fighting me as far as my expectation goes and saying she likes this and that, not really trying to justify herself to me, trying to meet my expectations. So that was a problem right off the bat. And it didn't help that she didn't give me the incentive, the stimulation, the physical stimulation. I would look at her and go, oh, she's so beautiful. I'm going to stimulate her back. So I didn't get stimulated by her conversation or her face or her body, etc. So it wasn't a two-way street. It was a one-way street. And it's difficult to say because a conversation is, you want to let it happen as naturally as possible, and that was very artificial. It was very forced for me because I'm speaking like, oh God, can you just give me something? Help me work with me here. So it was difficult to do because I wasn't getting a good response. You'll see, I'll try to record future conversations and show you what it's like when you get a girl who's responding the way you want her to respond, or a girl who isn't responding the way you want her to respond. But because you're managing your expectations and applying pain when she is violating your expectations, and of course stimulating her the whole time, applying pleasure, then you'll see how a girl's attitude changes, or how she opens up and starts talking and interacts with you, starts joking with you, and then those conversations have more options, they're more fun. They're more fun to listen to. They're more fun to participate in. This girl, fucking annoying cunt. Every time I think of that, it's like she gives these slow answers, like, let me wait 10 minutes and then answer, and it's just like nonsense answer. Again, this is not all her fault. I haven't stimulated her. I'm sure if she talks to her best friend, she's blah, 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 right? But again, it takes enough stimulation to open the girl. So don't take this as the ideal conversation. Don't take this as the model for a conversation with a girl. You should know that I'm telling you right now, I did not stimulate her enough. This would take more effort. It would take more, the type of conversation I'm not really into, like, what do you do for a living and da-da-da, and just basically non-conversation, but she's just trying to get more comfortable with me, but I'm trying to speed this along. I'm trying to squeeze like a week's worth of conversation into one conversation. And with girls who are more social, they can do that. They can basically have a conversation and get to fun places. They can even talk about sex. They can talk about their interests, how they're feeling, what moves them, those type of deeper things that you wouldn't talk to on a first conversation. But I like pushing the boundaries on a conversation because I'm not into chit chat. I'm not into when somebody tells me, "What do you do? What do you do for a living? So, are you close to your family?" Those type of bullshit questions are just not interesting to me. For girls, they're interesting because they're interested in being comfortable with you. They're really not that interested in the answer, but they're more interested in how you make them feel with the answer. They want an answer that makes them feel more comfortable with you. They want to have that sense that they're talking to a best friend. What I do to circumvent that is just talk to them like I already know them right off the bat. Like there's no, so my name is Professor Plum. It's very nice to meet you. I don't make it very formal. Like you wouldn't talk to your friend that way. You wouldn't come to your friend's house whose name is Daniel and go, "Hello, Daniel. I'm Steven. It's good to talk to you again. I just left your house yesterday as we were playing we were playing Halo, but it's good to see you again." You don't talk that way. You don't formalize things with your friends. But if you did start talking that way to your friend, he would feel weird. He would think, "What are you doing? Why are you acting so strange? We're buddies. You don't have to be that formal with me," because he's comfortable with you. Well, this girl wants to get you into that comfort state, in that comfort feeling. I was tempted to say stage. It's not a stage. It's just a feeling. When you feel comfortable with a girl, it can happen at the beginning, at the end, depending on how social she is and depending on how much you're stimulating her. You can get to if you're volunteering information about yourself. This is why I stress that you guys drop your bullshit conversation about, "Hey, how's it going? How's the weather, bro?" All that nonsense bullshit, and just cut to the chase and start practicing expressing yourself. Because the more comfortable you are with expressing yourself, the quicker you can get to that buddy phase with a girl. I know some of you guys right now are bitching up, are very timid in the chat room. You know, this is a chat room. You can't see my face. You can't see anybody's faces. All you can see are words on the screen. Stop acting like little girls and just start fucking practicing your expression. Forget about, oh, Plum isn't going to like me. Nobody's going to like me. This is practice time, okay? You're in a classroom. By being in the classroom, it comes with judgment. It comes with observation. It comes with criticism. Realize that is part of the package. It's going to come. Just prepare yourself for it. Just put on a fresh pair of panties and start fucking opening your mouth. In this case, start typing on the keyboard. Here's my experience. Here's who I am. And then manage the reaction. Some people will have a positive reaction. Some people will have a corny comment, a joke. Some people will give you a reaction that you don't like, and just practice managing the reaction. Practice letting others in the chat room know your expectations, what you like and don't like. And another thing I want to cover, which is a little point, a sub point. Some of you guys are in full nerd mode and think you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, so you'll say, hey guy, I'm trying to manage my expectations with you. So right now I'm trying to stimulate you and da-da-da-da-da. Okay, I understand when you're talking to other students, fine, they understand the lingo, but the terms we've come up with are really terms of convenience. They're for you. They're not for people in the outside world. This is classroom language. This is like when you're in sociology class and you talk about the economics of social capital or something like that. This is strictly for the classroom. When you're talking to normal people outside, in the world around you, you don't have to say, hey, guess what? I'm stimulating you right now, and I'm trying to get my expectations met. So you're giving me a response I don't like, so I'm going to apply pain to you. They're going to think you're a fucking retard. They're going to think you're some bizarre Dungeons and Dragons nerd. And I cringe and think of you that way too when I hear that bullshit. Not bullshit. I don't mean to phrase it that way, but when I hear you speaking about the mechanics of, it's like you're a baker and you're speaking with baker terms to somebody who just wants to eat the cake. All they care about is if the cake looks pleasant, has nice icing on it, and tastes good. They don't care that you beat 3 whole eggs, farm fresh eggs, instead of 3 eggs that weren't raised on the farm, or you use vanilla extract instead of French extract. They don't care about all the bullshit that went into it. They just care about the presentation and the taste. The things that matter to them. Be aware of your audience. What stimulates them? A good example of stimulating, of caring about what your audience values versus what you value. You as students value social interaction terms. This is all cool stuff to you. Oh, I'm learning about validation, invalidation, pain, pleasure, expressing myself, conveying myself candidly, all these terms, right? This is cool. This is like playing a video game for you. But you have to look at what other people value. Sometimes people don't value video games. Sometimes they value skating. Sometimes they value talking. Sometimes they value shopping. I'll give you a specific, for instance, for the forum. I value when people follow directions. Like if I tell you to do something, I expect you to do it. I'm the teacher, you're the student. Just do it. Who did I just recently talk to? Vic. Okay. Vic was in the chat room. Vic takes terrible notes. Vic, work on your note-taking. Just copy and paste the screen and look at it verbatim, or type better notes. But your notes were off in some respects. They're good in some parts, but other parts they need some work. Anyway, I told Vic immediately after we had our conversation in the chat room, where I gave him some correction and some criticism and some helpful advice on how to improve his expression. Then I expected him to give me something back in return that I valued, which was a detailed expectation management report that talked about what he learned. And why did I want this? Because I want you other students to learn from him. I want you to learn from this. I don't want to be speaking to one student where I could be speaking to 20 students at once, right? Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Save myself the effort of repeating myself. I don't want to repeat myself. If I'm saying something important to one student, I expect that student to write it up so the other students can learn from it, so the other students can get the benefit of it. Don't be a selfish fuck. Share with your fellow students. So I told Vic, hey, share this, in the forum. And Vic comes back later and starts giving me something he thinks is going to please me. He starts expressing himself in the chat room. Now, it's good for Vic to practice expressing himself in the chat room because he doesn't do it a lot. He's usually in clown mode and telling stupid jokes and adding fucking nonsense comments. He's a guy who there will be other people saying something and he'll react and say something funny to try and jump in and join the gang, right? And here's me contributing my funny joke. I don't care about all that nonsense. I don't care about you being too cool for school. I want you to practice expressing yourself, expressing what happens to you during the day, what you experience, what it's like being Vic. That's what I care about, not your fucking jokes that are bandwagon on top of my commentary. I don't want you to support what I'm saying. I want you to say your own thing so that I can be stimulated. Okay, so Vic is practicing this in the chat room, but what Vic doesn't realize, because I haven't applied enough pain, is that this is not my expectation. I specifically told him, I want you to go type up a report talking about what you learned, what I spoke about in the chat room. He gave me something he valued, which was he thought, oh, it's going to be real cool if I practice expressing myself, which is a good thing, right? I always want you guys to express yourself. But this isn't what I valued. I value my expectations. My expectation is for Vic to type up that fucking report. He didn't do it. So I didn't go and immediately reward him for doing something, which is good. You know, he's practicing his expression in the chat room. That's good. But it's not what I wanted. It didn't meet my expectations. And if I care about my expectations, I'm not going to take something that placates me, something in the meantime, something in the interim. If we were going in stages, if Vic was a girl and I was trying to, get Vic attracted to me, I might have to settle for that. I can't get all my expectations met at once. Like, ultimately, I want to have sex with Vic if he's a girl, right? I want to get in a relationship, have sex with him. But I might not be able to get that expectation met 5 minutes in a medium. So for me to have that expectation of Vic is going to be unrealistic unless I've stimulated Vic to the point so he's so hot and wet that he just puts out immediately. But usually that's not going to happen. So I'm going to have to work with what Vic is giving me. I'm going to have to work in little steps and baby steps and stages until I get Vic stimulated enough where he's going to put out. But this is a different context. This is the classroom. I'm the teacher, and I expect my expectations to be met. So I realized, look, I have something that Vic values, my teaching, to get him to be social, to get him to talk to other people, to attract women, to attract men, not in a sexual way, but in a friendship way. So he can have an enjoyable social life. So since I have this, something valuable that he wants, I expect him to give me something valuable that I want, which is I want him to type up that report. He's not doing it. He's giving me something he values, which is he's practicing his expression. Again, not a bad thing, but not what I wanted. So this is important when you're talking to people, to understand what they value. Number one, you need to understand all people have the same needs. Repeat again, all people have the same needs. If you understand what you need, you'll understand what every other person in the world needs. Do you hear that? If you understand what you need as a human being, you're going to understand automatically what every other person in the world understands. A lot of what I learned about talking to people, I learned from myself, strangely enough. I just looked at what do I need? Not what do I want? What do I actually need? Those needs, I realized are other people's needs. So when I realized what I needed, I instantly was aware of what other people needed. And what was the verification of that? I got the good response. I started realizing, oh, these people are responding to me in a great way. I'm obviously making them happy. I'm meeting their needs. So number one is meeting people's needs. If you can meet their needs, you're going to make them happy. They're going to be attracted to you. If you're meeting needs, you're going to be attractive. I just farted. Did you hear that? Okay. Got distracted by the fart. Let's get back on track, people. If I can give you eggs sunny side up and some orange juice and you've been starving and you finally get a meal from me, guess what? I've met your need. I'm attractive to you now. I can meet your needs. In the same way, you have to meet people's needs. That's number one. Number two is wants. What people want. What people want, if it's not a need, is usually, I shouldn't say usually, it's always going to be dysfunctional. If something you don't need, you just want it, it's dysfunctional. I don't care what it is. I'm sure you guys will come up with a ton of things that you think, what about this? What about that? Yes. The answer is yes, it's dysfunctional. So, if you want to get to those needs, sometimes you've got to address those dysfunctional wants. Like, a girl wants a pony. She's not going to, now let me think of a better example. For instance, a lot of girls are controlled by social expectations. They're controlled by social authority. Whoever has the most authority, right? Society creates these expectations for girls. You should wear makeup. You should wear these type of outfits. You should say these types of things. You should behave this type of way in public, right? Girls are ruled by that. They are basically puppets to authority. So they're largely controlled by social authority. That's why they wear tons of clown makeup and dress in, sometimes silly outfits because of the prevailing social expectations. So, along with those social expectations, a common one is buy me a drink. You like me? Buy me a drink. Now, I never recommend buying anything for a chick. But let's say this chick is ridiculously hot and for some reason you could get laid that night or get in a relationship or whatever. But if you don't meet this dysfunctional social expectation she has in her head, it's going to blow it. you might buy her a drink. It's not going to kill you, but I don't recommend it. I know there's ways around it, but if you just don't have the social skills and you think, oh, but then if you didn't have the social skills, how would you get laid? Okay. You're going to have to suspend your disbelief for this example to work. Anyway, the point is, sometimes girls have dysfunctional social expectations, and if it's not a huge, huge deal like buy me a new car or, put your balls in my purse, you can meet it if it will get you more emotional investment from her. The key is to get that emotional investment so you can get her back to being functional, so you can get her away from being a gold digger, so you can get her away from being a bitch. The more emotional investment I have from a girl, the easier it is for me to get my expectations met with her. That means I can start applying pain, and it'll stick. It'll mean something to her when I take away my attention. It'll mean something to her when I tell her to get the fuck out of my place. It'll mean something to her when I tell her, don't act like that. I don't like that. That's stupid. That's retarded. That's not hot. That's not hot. You see how many times I told that chick, hey, that's hot, but I like a girl that does this, that, right? I just kept it very simple, very basic, very repetitive also. But, again, I was trying to demonstrate that you don't have to be complex. You don't have to come up with the coolest things on planet Earth to impress a girl. You can be very basic, even bland, as long as you're practicing, exercising your authority, controlling her reactions through pain and pleasure. Applying pleasure, applying pain. You saw a lot of times when I applied pain, I didn't always say, that's retarded, or I don't like that, or that's stupid. I did say that sometimes. I did ridicule her other times. I applied things I don't recommend, like sarcasm. Sometimes I just ignored her. And one of the easiest things to do is if a girl says something stupid, just ignore her and speak like she didn't even say it. That lets her know, look, that your retarded expectation was so dumb. I didn't even give it any credible notice. Other times when girls say something sarcastic, I'll just take it at face value because they want you to react to that sarcasm. They want you to say, oh, this girl's so fucking clever, she got me, right? The best way to defeat sarcasm is just to not even acknowledge it, just to answer it at face value. Like if a girl says, you know what? You're really smart. You probably know a lot. I go, thank you for noticing. Yes, I am very smart. I'm a lot smarter than you. I'm glad that you acknowledge that, right? I just take it at face value, right? Or take it to a ridiculous end. Like, you don't be intimidated by my intelligence. Just because you have a single digit IQ and you're not that bright, that's okay. There's going to be smart people in the world that are going to intimidate you. You're going to get over it, right? I'll take it to the extreme end and I'll apply my own sarcasm. You don't have to be sarcastic. Again, I don't recommend sarcasm because it's dysfunctional, but you can definitely just answer sarcasm at face value. That just lets a chick know she's retarded. And the thing is, as long as you don't react to her sarcasm with the, oh my gosh, you got me, or oh, you tricked me again, you tricky rabbit, or, you just get deflated by her sarcasm, oh, I feel so stupid because she's making me feel stupid. As long as you don't give her that pleasurable response, you instead give her the painful response, which is to not acknowledge her sarcasm, just take it at face value, like it doesn't matter. That is more painful than trying to come up with a cooler answer to her sarcasm. Unnecessary. Be simple. Make it simple. Don't make it into rocket science. Conversation is not rocket science. 99 percentage-wise, like I can get a percentage. I'm going to say the majority. I'm going to go 96.4% of conversation. The 94.6% of conversation is just balls. And when I say balls, I don't even mean balls. I really mean just being a guy. Just realizing that you have just as much right to respect as she expects. Girls are fucking delusional. They expect the same respect you would give the President of the United States. That's how much respect they expect. No matter how fucking ugly they are, fat they are, dysfunctional they are, even if the chick is on heroin, cracked out of her mind, in a fetal position in a crack house, you start talking to her like you like her, she's going to expect that you treat her like the Queen of Sheba. So, girls have dysfunctional expectations. Guess what? You can have them too. I don't recommend it. I recommend you learn how to be functional and learn how to develop functional expectations. But don't be afraid of being unreasonable with a girl. Do not be afraid of being unreasonable with a girl. You guys are such fucking nerds. You think you have to say, the sky is blue, it's 11:02 and 30 seconds, not 11:03. You have to be so exact. You think you fear not being exact with a girl, like she's going to call you out like some other fellow nerd, or she even cares about that. The last thing she is considering is the exact time, the exact GPS coordinates you're at, the exact day that you met her. Never mind that. I'm trying to stack examples here. So you notice I like to stack examples to give you a fuller picture here, but sometimes it just gets convoluted. Just realized, what was the point here? I forgot. Oh, okay. Just realize you don't have to be a rocket scientist when you're talking to a girl. You don't have to expect the world from yourself when you're talking to a girl. Just cover the basics, cover the principles, stimulate. And don't worry about not being so exact, so precise with a girl. She's not a super nerd like you. She doesn't care about that stuff. She cares about the gist of the conversation. If you have authority, you can be as delusional and dysfunctional as you want. I mean, consider like David Koresh or Charlie Manson. Who were some other cult leaders? You know, these crazy cult leaders were not making sense. They're insane. They have these dysfunctional demands of people, but they have followers. Why do they have followers? Because they exercise pain. They use their their authority and exercise pain to get their expectations met. They give you a pleasurable response. They stimulate you. So they're doing things to get you to emotionally invest in them. And then when they apply pain, they say, look, you're supposed to drink this Kool-Aid. Don't be a retard. Don't be an infidel. Don't be one who God hates. Drink this Kool-Aid. You know, they're applying that pain. That pain is going to matter to you. You're going to drink that Kool-Aid. You're going to do that dysfunctional thing. You're going to meet that dysfunctional expectation. Consider how powerful authority is over people, even passively. You don't even have to be saying anything. There are social expectations that exist only in your mind because you've heard them enough on TV. You know, nobody's even told you directly. A fucking commercial has told you. Don't do this, buy this, drink this, eat this, drink Pepsi, drink Coca-Cola, right? The ultimate in advertising is you're cool when you drink Coca-Cola. Drink Coca-Cola. That is pain and pleasure applied to you to get you to meet a social expectation. That is not even there. People aren't standing right next to you going, be cool, drink Coca-Cola. This is a social expectation that there's no person directly saying it to you. You're hearing it on TV. Think of how powerful these things are. That girls are ruled by them. They're ruled by dress trends. You know, girls wear those fucking tops that look like maternity ward dresses, like they're pregnant. They flow out from the tits down, just like this big frumpy gowns that they wear on the top. Call them maternity ward dresses, but those things are the most hideous fucking things I've ever seen in my life. But girls wear them because it's a social expectation of their group. These are the cool dresses. These are the in dresses. These are the trendy dresses. Make sure you have these, right? Think of the social expectations of ethnicities, of different cultures. Think of cholas, chicks that shave off their eyebrows and paint them back on, and then outline their lips in, like eyeliner pencil or something, and they wear that purple shade of lipstick. Looks like they're dead, or their lips have like frostbite. Think of these cultural expectations that rule them. There's social authority ruling them. From region to region, from culture to culture, society to society. Can I say society to society? Okay, I just did. Okay, so hopefully you're picking up something here. Oh yeah, and before I forget, I want to thank all the people who have stimulated me. Thank you for stimulating me with your posts. That sounds a little dirty, sounds a little seedy, sounds a little bit sexual, but I want to thank you anyway for... Let me read some of these things. Let's see how much you stimulated me. Clicking on lectures and films. Stimulating Professor Plum. Ooh, that sounds dirty. Let's see. And then I thought I called the podcast Stimulate Me. Where did I come up with these retarded things? Okay, Mother Son, quick review. Intro was great. It just lacked a smooth segue from it into you talking. This is interesting. I like these compliments, but I like how he speaks about what he's the background of his compliment. He just gets into it. There was a radio show a few years back, the Star and Buck Wild show that used similar intros. The only big difference from it and your podcast is it would have the intro play into a song, and the host would say, "This is Friday, blah blah blah." Okay. So anyway, I like how you relate to us more and more each podcast, but what I think would be even better. So he's talking about how he feels like I'm relating to him, like we're buddy-buddy. Like we're on a friend level, right? I feel like I'm having an intimate conversation with you. These type of things stimulate me. They make me feel good. I'm like, oh, I do that for you guys? That's cool. I didn't know I was doing that. I wasn't aware of that. Like, I am kind of aware of that, but I like hearing it. It's just like I like hearing I love you. You may be with a girl, and you know she loves you, but you like hearing it. I love you. Just like she likes hearing it. you may know you love her. She may know you love her, but she wants to hear that. She wants to be stimulated. So you'd say, I love you, baby. I love you today, right? This is you guys saying, I love you, Plum. Paint us a vivid picture of how you came from the slimy cold depth of the social basement and became a godlike social I remember this comment. Yes, a godlike social being from this slimy cold depth of the social basement. Let's see here. What are some other ones? Great podcast from High School 101. I LMAO'd at the analogy. He LMAO'd. He laughed my ass off. He laughed his ass off. I like that I caused him to laugh. That makes me feel good. See, he stimulated me. You LMAO'd. I feel warm and fuzzy inside. Thank you. That was a classic quote. Look at it. I made a t-shirt quote, right? I can't believe I was the one responsible for that quote. Oh, I feel so special now. Thank you. Thank you. It should be on a bumper sticker. And what I thought was interesting was when you talked about how the students view you as a social superhero who could never be stimulated by us retards. I was actually surprised when you said how you need us just as much as we need you. Look at that. I surprised him. I'm stimulated by his reaction. His reaction stimulates me. Just like when you say something to a girl, it's going to be stimulating, and then when they react and go, oh my God, you're so cute, you're so cool, that was so funny, their reaction stimulates you. Some of you have had some experience with this because you've been practicing talking to other people. Yes. Okay, on to the boggler. I paused the podcast after Plum talked about creating order in our environments, especially the part where he linked mood and the environment. I was thinking as to how I do things. I like that I caused Boggler to pause the podcast and to vacuum his car. I caused him to go out and buy a car vacuum. If I had made a podcast, his car would be dirty right now. He wouldn't have bought that vacuum. I was responsible for making him buy that vacuum. Amazing, just by podcast. That makes me feel good. That makes me feel special. That makes me feel stimulated. Yes, stimulated. Now you're getting it. Excellent job. Excellent job. I even worked on my messy room a little. I started putting things lying around into drawers and closets, so he cleaned up his room. I'm responsible for cleaning up his room. Oh, that makes me feel so good. Thank you, Boggler. Thank you, Boggler. Thank you. That was a horrible Indian accent. Thank you, Boggler. Oh, I can't get my Indian accent out tonight. I need to hear Boggler's voice, and then I can activate the Indian accent. Plum has to specifically spell it out. Okay, here's Wolfgang, 85. Sorry for leaving you hanging until now. I love this podcast. Well, I love you for loving the podcast, buddy. Because your candid expression was touching. Oh, it was touching. I moved his inner parts. His heart was aching for when Plum's words spoke to his heart. When I do something praiseworthy, I want to be complimented. I want to be complimented, get acknowledgement or feedback. Even if you mastered social interaction and teach it, why would it be different for you? I know that now. I'm glad you know that. I'm glad I taught you something. This is like when teachers say the rewarding part is seeing the look on the students' faces when they change and they learn something and they grow up, right? And he says even took something about cocksucking on your knees. What was this? You don't want to be a cocksucker on your knees, taking the world's cock in your mouth and sucking it long and hard. You want to be the guy delivering the cock, not suck it. Okay. Did I say that? Okay. So this is the guy's new signature. Okay, one thing I would change so you don't sound too black in this, I would change the last sentence where it says, you want to be the guy delivering the cock, not suck it. That sounds like you have Down syndrome English. You want to say, not sucking, ing it. So change that in your signature so you sound like you can speak in English and not in Swahili. Other than that, thank you guys. Again, thank you for stimulating me. I am very stimulated. Whenever I see that little red dot that says there's a new post, I'm stimulated. Believe it or not, just seeing that red dot, sometimes it's an Indian response that says just great, or a one-word thing and I want to punch the screen. But more often than not, whenever I see that red dot, I get happy. I'm like, oh, another post to read? Oh my gosh, I'm so trembling. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be something so exciting. Somebody's going to learn something. Here's the one major things I think. Somebody got a new girlfriend. Somebody met an awesome girl and they clicked and it worked out and they go, oh, thank you so much. That always makes me happy. Somebody writes something in an expression log where they practice telling me something about their life and it stimulates me. I'm like moved. I'm genuinely touched. It doesn't have to be something so crucial, so dramatic, but just the fact that they're opening up. I'm touched. I'm moved. Those type of things. Whenever I see that red dot, I always think of that. Now, maybe 6 times out of 10, actually maybe 8 times out of 10, it'll be some retarded nonsense. I'm like, great. But as long as you guys are practicing, it's good enough. Practice. It's good enough. It'll get you to that level of competence that you're trying to get to. Don't lose your balls. don't shy away from the pain of criticism. Don't shy away from the pain of correction. Don't be such an emo fag that you crawl up into a fetal position if I correct you and say, look, do it this way, don't do it this way. Or look, this is bad, this is retarded, this is not helping. Do it this way, right? I'm trying to tell you, as much as I'm telling you no, I gotta tell you yes, I gotta tell you what to do. I gotta direct you. I can't tell you, this is not the direction to go in without telling you the direction to go in, without having you told you in some regard, either in the ebook or specifically, don't do this, do this. So you need to have both. You can't just have the no, you can't just hear, that's fucking lame, you're fucking retarded. You have to hear, that's bad. You should be doing it this way. This is the good way to do it. This is good. You need to be hearing both sides. The direction and the criticism, the pain. That'll move you to that direction. And the pleasure when you get there, when you finally get it right, it's lollipops and candy and get in my van for 2 hours. When you get it right? You did good. You did very well today, Bogler. Have a popsicle, have a big sip, and step into my molester van. Excellent job. So, I want to sum it up with something so pithy and so profound, so amazing, that it just makes you scream, ah, because I feel, ah! Like, you know, you're like some chick in the Beatles audience or, and you know, just seeing a boy band for the first time, you're getting all crazy. You're seeing Justin Bieber, oh, it's Bieber, ah! I want to say something so cool that you just melt. It just melts you with your heart and you just go crazy. But I just can't think of anything. See you sirs later.